Hi there, this is Anne Marie, Bald Girl Will Travel, and I like to talk to women, especially Black women, about using solo travel as self-care, and especially for those of us who are over 40. So if that's of interest to you, please hit the subscribe and like button and follow me here on YouTube. Today, I am saying hello from Lisbon, Portugal, where I am doing some solo travel for the next several weeks. I am in Lisbon, but I will be heading out of here in a couple days to my next destination, and I'll share where that is when I get there. So I am sitting here in my lovely Airbnb, and I will be sharing a separate video that shows a review of the Airbnb I'm in Lisbon. I like it a lot. But I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about how I choose my accommodations, because I've had several people ask me how I feel about Airbnb versus hotels, why I always choose Airbnbs. So I thought I'd talk about that a little bit. And you can also check out the blog post that I've written where I share why I prefer Airbnb over hotels. And basically, there are 4 reasons why I prefer Airbnbs over hotels. The first reason is that because I'm a person who travels as a minimalist, not really a minimalist in life, but I am a minimalist when it comes to travel. I am definitely team carry-on. I do not like to check bags when I travel, so I travel pretty light. And as a result, I usually travel with about 7 to 8 days worth of clothes, and then I just recycle them in different ways as I go along. So for me, having a washer and dryer at my disposal is pretty essential. And when I travel and stay at Airbnbs, I always pick a place that has a washer dryer on the premises. At a minimum, it has to have a washer and a line for me to dry my clothes. But most of the time, I pick places that have both washers and dryers so that I can wash my clothes as I go along, because I don't like to wear dirty clothes, but I don't like to have too many items with me. And if you've followed me, you've seen my video about how I do travel, how I pack to avoid checking bags. So one of the reasons why is because I'm team carry-on. One of the other reasons why is that I find it to be more affordable as well as more comfortable to stay at an Airbnb versus a hotel when I'm doing long-term travel. And when I travel, I usually don't go anywhere for less than 3 weeks. So Airbnb will often give you a better rate or steer you to hosts who will give you a discount if you stay for 3 to 4 weeks. So you will definitely, in most cases, spend less staying at a long-term Airbnb than if you stay in a hotel room for 4 weeks. So because I usually travel for a longer term, I find it less expensive to stay in an Airbnb. Also, comfort. I like having a living room like I have here. I like having a kitchen where I can cook things, make my own breakfast, make my coffee in the morning. I like having high-speed internet, and I look for places where I ask questions about high-speed internet and I check reviews, because I work sometimes as I am traveling, as I am on this trip. So I need to make sure that I can get good Wi-Fi, and sometimes in hotels, they may have Wi-Fi everywhere and for everyone, but to get good quality Wi-Fi, you often have to travel to another location of the hotel, or walk to another location of the hotel, or go somewhere else where you get better reception. A lot of times in hotels, you don't get really great reception in the room. You have to go elsewhere. And so I like to be in Airbnb so that I have Wi-Fi throughout the space in most cases. I can wash and dry my clothes. I can make myself breakfast and other meals if that's what I want. I also like to pick places which are in more central locations to the city center so that it's comfortable for me to walk and explore. So my third reason why I like Airbnbs is because I like to travel, but I don't want to be only where tourists are or other travelers are. So I like to stay in neighborhoods where I can go to in a local bar and have a drink. I go to a local cafe that other people go to who live in the neighborhood and have coffee in the morning if I don't make it myself. I can go to the corner grocery store and buy food at what the local people pay. Like I just went to the grocery store here down the street in Lisbon. It was great. I think I only ended up spending maybe $15 to $16 US. Bought some eggs, bought some cheese, bought some coffee, and some items for me to have in the apartment here. And it was pretty affordable versus going to some of the more tourist-centered places. And I found that when I went over to the tourist-centered places, the groceries were more expensive. the coffee was more expensive than in the neighborhood where I'm staying. So that's one of the reasons why I like to stay in Airbnb, because it lets me stay in an actual neighborhood around regular people. Yes, I am a tourist, so I end up going to places that tourists go, but I like being in the neighborhood around local people when I'm traveling. And then number 4, my 4th reason why I like to stay in Airbnb over hotels is, frankly, I feel safer. And that might surprise people, but as I have been traveling all over the world for a very long time, I feel a lot more in control of my environment when I'm staying in Airbnb, because one of the things I do before I pick an Airbnb is I talk to the host, I ask them a lot of questions. I ask, who else has access to the apartment while I'm staying there? Is there any cleaning lady? If there is, if I don't want them to come, I can cancel them, things like that. In a hotel, believe it or not, a lot more people have access to your space, generally speaking, than in an Airbnb. So if you pick an Airbnb in a safe place, and you can know that by reading the reviews and doing your own homework, a lot less people are probably going to access that space while you're staying there than in a hotel. A lot of people think they're safer, and they heard a story about somebody's sister's uncle's cousin's brother having a bad experience at Airbnb, and then they decide all Airbnbs are bad. But for me, the only places where I have had things happen where I was concerned about my security or safety were hotels. And so not many incidents, and I still stay in hotels, but for longer term stays, I prefer Airbnb. But I know that a lot more people have access to your room, the maids, maintenance. These people have access to the rooms in hotels. So if you're really concerned about people coming and going, there are probably more people with the ability to come and go in your space if you're staying in a hotel than an Airbnb. But regardless of where you're staying, you should be taking responsibility for your own personal security. And I've written many blog posts about what that looks like, why it's important, things that you can do. I was responsible for 20 plus years for the security of 500 plus people in multiple international development situations. And so I've spent a lot of time thinking about security, making sure people had the right things to be safe, traveling all over the world, and so on. So this is a subject I know a lot about, and it's very important to me. So I take my personal security very seriously. And one of the reasons why I like Airbnb is because I feel more in control of my personal security in an Airbnb than I do in a hotel. So there you have it. 4 reasons why I prefer Airbnb over hotels. Not bashing hotels. Some people like hotels better, and if that's the case, do what's best for you. But as a person who solo travels a lot and usually does it on a longer term basis when I do it, I find that Airbnbs work better for my needs than a hotel. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it was educational. I hope it was helpful. You can check out the blog post that I also wrote on this subject. A link will be in the description. And if you enjoyed this video, please hit the subscribe button, like, comment, and share it with a friend. Thanks for watching. Bye.